Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am so happy that you are able to join me this morning. It's a beautiful day to be alive, and I'm super excited to jump right back into the Most High's Holy Scriptures. So go ahead and get your swords, get your notes, your pens, your papers, your coffee, whatever it is that you need to study. And we're going to jump right back into the scriptures. And this morning, my husband is going to be joining me in our studies. So don't be alarmed if you hear his voice in the background, okay? Want to say good morning, honey?
Yo. Top of the morning, y'all.
Okay, so we, in our last studies, as you remember, we studied Genesis chapters 23 and 24, where we had learned where Abraham had sent his servant out to his family's home to seek a wife for his son Yishak. And the servant went out, and when he got to Abraham's the homes of Abraham's family, he asked the Most High to give him a sign when he came upon the woman that is to be Yishak's wife. And so the servant came upon Ribkah, and the Most High gave him a sign, letting him know that that is to be Yishak's wife. So we're going to pick right back up at Genesis chapter 25. Genesis 25. And Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. So as you remember, Sarah has passed away. Abraham did in fact bury her, and now he has moved on to take another wife, whose name was Keturah. And she bore to him Zimron and Yakshan, and Medan and Midian, and Yishbak and Shuwan. And Yakshan brought forth Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Letushim and Leumim. Verse 4. And the sons of Midian were Ephah and Epher and Hanak and Abidah and Eldiah. All these were the children of Keturah. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Yishak. But to the sons of the concubines whom Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living, and sent them away from his son Yishak, eastward to the land of the east. And so if you look in the back of your scriptures at the maps back there, you'll see that the land of the east is Arabia, the Arabia Peninsula. And because where they are currently, if you remember, is in the land of Negev. And so the land east of them is the land of Arabia. Verse 7. And these are all the years of Abraham's life, which he lived, 175 years. And Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age, aged and satisfied, and was gathered to his people. So Abraham lived 175 years. Amazing. That is a long time. Verse 9. And his sons Yishak and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, the field which Abraham purchased from the son of Heth. There Abraham was buried with Sarah his wife. And it came to be after the death of Abraham that Elohim barak his son Yishak. And Yishak dwelled at Be'er Lahai Roi. Verse 12. And this is the genealogy of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Mizrahite, Sarah's female servant, bore to Abraham. Okay, so now the scriptures are going to share the genealogy of Ishmael. And as you remember, Abraham had sent Ishmael away. Ishmael and Hagar, if you remember, because when Yishak was born, Ishmael had mocked his birth. And so that upset Sarah, and she requested Abraham to send Yishak and Hagar away. Remember? So here we are. We're going to discuss the genealogy of Ishmael. Verse 13. And these were the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, then Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Hadad, and Tema, Yetur, Naphish, and Kedema. 16. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these were their names, by their towns and their settlements, 12 chiefs according to their tribes. And so when you get the opportunity, take some time, because here verse 16 tells us these were the sons of Ishmael, and these were their names by their towns and their settlements, right? And so if you take some time and you research these names and the towns and settlements, you will learn that you will learn the location in the towns and the settlements of Ishmael's sons. And you will learn that his sons are the Arab nation.
All from Arabia.
From the land of Arabia. Yes. So again, these were the...
It was Arabians.
Right. So again, these were the sons of Ishmael, and these were their names by their towns and their settlements, 12 chiefs according to their tribes. And these were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. So Ishmael lived 137 years, and he died. Verse 18, and they dwelt from Hawilah as far as Shur, which is east of Mitzrayim as you go toward Asher. He settled before all his brothers. And, verse 19, and this is the genealogy of Yishak, Abraham's son. So now we're going to discuss the genealogy of Yishak. Abraham brought forth Yishak, and Yishak was 40 years old when he took Ribkah as his wife. English translation is Rebecca, yes. The daughter of Bethuel, of Armenian, of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean. 21. And Yishak prayed to Yahuwah for his wife because she was barren, meaning she had not birthed children. And Yahuwah answered his prayer, and Ribkah his wife conceived. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, if all is right, why am I this way? So she went to ask Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body. And one people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb. And the first came out reddish all over, like a hairy garment. So they called his name Esau. And afterward, his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel. So his name was called Yaakov, which in your English translations is Jacob. And Yishak was 60 years old when she bore them. 27. And the boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Yaakov was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And when the scriptures say that he was a complete man, that's more so like a, a man, a smart man, a well-rounded man is a better way to put it. A complete man is a well-rounded man. Um, I researched what a complete man meant, and there are several definitions. It could be a jack of all trades, a smart, intelligent, well-rounded individual. Um, their character as a whole.
Man of
Um,
integrity,
a man of integrity.
a
Yep.
man that speaks truth, a man of honor, a
Yes.
man that goes the right way, a man that don't cheat, that don't deceive or deceive others.
Hmm. Very well-rounded. Verse 28. And Yishak loved Esau because he ate of his wild game. But Ribkah loved Yaakov. And Yaakov cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Yaakov, please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. That is why his name was called Edom.
Because it's red. The word Esau means red. Edom means red.
Okay.
And it's funny you say that because he said something about can I have some of that red stew? And his red stew was also referring to the name Esau or the name Edom, which means red.
Mm.
Yeah.
Verse 31. But Yaakov said, sell me your birthright today. And Esau said, look, I am going to die, so why should I have birthright?
He was questioning his own self,
Right. So,
justifying it.
right. And interesting. Verse 33. Then Yaakov said, swear to me today. And he swore to him and sold his birthright to Yaakov for food.
Hey, but you know what? So just to piggyback on what you just said, when when Esau was questioning himself after Yaakov asked him to sell me your birthright, and it's the same thing that the serpent did to the Shinnah, did to Eve when he asked her, uh, why don't you eat off this fruit? And then she replied that the Most High said, don't eat off this fruit, then you should surely die.
Right.
And she said, and that you would die. And then he said, you would not surely die. So uh, he kind of took what was said to her, and he flipped it around to make
Right.
it to justify it. And then you can see Esau, he did the same thing as well too. He answered his own question, or he answered the question. He answered his own question in a way where he was going to justify what he was going to do anyway, right?
Right.
Because he said, why should I care about my birthright? I'm going to die anyway.
Right.
So that kind of relieved him, or alleviated him
Do
to
the
give
wrong
do the
thing.
wrong thing. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And then another thing is too, when you go back to just to add this to what you were saying in line 26, when he says after his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel. And then you
Mm-hmm.
read the same thing if you go into Genesis chapter 15, I'm talking about Genesis chapter 3, line 15, and it says, "And I put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed, and she shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel." This is
Yep.
it's the same thing, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I just thought I just found that interesting. Those two lines that you said they were spoken of in the beginning of the book.
Right. And as we continue in our studies down the line and we learn more about these twin brothers, that reference that my husband just referenced, it will make more
Yeah, it
sense
will
to you.
resonate more.
It will resonate more when we learn more about these twins and who they grow up to be.
And then another thing, Esau never ever, even from this day moving forward, he never got over that he was tricked to sell his birthrights, and he would never got over that his father gave everything to Yaakov, which it should have been him.
Yeah.
Even moving forward today, right now, them same people are feeling the way they feel now, and it's just a seed that was cursed in them for a long time, but they
Yeah.
still have that bitter feeling inside of them because they was never granted or never rewarded what was given to Abraham. They feel, I mean, not to Abraham, it was given to Yaakov. They feel like it should have been given to them.
Correct.
Even to this day.
Yep.
And that's a spirit
Yes.
that dwelled in that nation even all the way to this day.
Yes, it
That's
is.
real talk right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But we are going to learn that, okay? Just remember what you're learning, right? Like my husband just referenced, what you learned in Genesis and what you're learning here, how the twins were born, and then how Esau had in fact been deceived into he wasn't deceived. He sold his birthright. However, he didn't realize the long lasting effect that would have. He didn't realize what he was truly doing.
The longevity of
right?
it.
And it just, the Holy Spirit is putting on me where, like, we do things, that without thinking about them. And we don't know the effect that it's going to have
in the long run.
In the long run, the long lasting effect. And not just physically, but spiritually. Like, that's why you have to be you have to be so positive and without a shadow of a doubt that you are keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes that are in the Most High's word. Nothing less, nothing more, because you do not know the long-lasting effect or the domino effect that it is going to have. Something so simple as to believing in astrology, right? People think that's something so simple. But if you read the Most High's word and you study it and you meditate on it, then you know that astrology is
witchcraft.
A type of witchcraft, right? Witchcraft is a form of idolatry because that is a ritual and a practice that was created for other gods. Yeah. And so that's why it's so important that you stay within the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. And if you are not 100% sure about it, don't entertain it, which means don't do it. That doesn't mean ignore it. That means don't do it. If it is not written here, don't do it. If it is not a yes, if it is not a 100% yes, then that means it is a no. It's not a maybe, it is a no. And so that's the moral compass that I go by when when I am deciphering through the things of this world, right? Because I was raised into different doctrines and beliefs and traditions. And as the Most High has separated me away from those things, he gave me this rule of thumb, right? Which is, if it's not in his word, don't do it. Don't entertain it. Stay away from it, right? Because as you see here with Esau selling his birthright, something that he didn't even realize what he was doing. But we're going to learn down the line that he is going to learn exactly what he did, and it's irreversible, right? Okay. So let's pick back up at chapter 26. And there was I'm sorry. We're going to go back to 25, verse 34. Yaakov then gave Esau bread and stew of lentils, and he ate and drank, and rose up and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Chapter 26. And there was a scarcity of food in the land, besides the first scarcity of food, which was in the days of Abraham. And Yishak went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Pelashites in Gerar. And Yahuwah appeared to him and said, do not go down to Mitzrayim. Live in the land which I command you. Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you, and barak you. For I give all these lands to you and your seed, and I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abraham and your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the Shemayim, and I shall give all these lands to your seed, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be barak. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commands, my laws, and my Torah, which is this. And Yishak dwelt in Gerar. So here Isaac is on the move, and the Most High has came to him and has told him, do not go to the land of Mitzrayim. Live in the land in which I command you. Don't worry about a scarcity of food or anything, because I am going to bless you and give all these lands to you and your seed. Why? Because I established an oath, and I swore to Abraham your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the Shemayims, and I shall give all these lands to your seed. Yes. Why? Because Abraham obeyed his voice, and Abraham guarded his commands, his laws, and his Torah. Verse 7. And when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, she is my sister. For he was afraid to say, she is my wife, lest the men of the place should kill me for Rivkah, because she is good looking. So if you see here, now Yishak is doing the same thing that Abraham did. When Abraham lied, I don't want to use the word lied, but Abraham was dishonest, and he deceived sovereigns into thinking Sarah was his sister. And so here Yishak is doing the same thing in regard to Rivkah. Verse 8. And it came to be, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, sovereign of the Pelashites, looked through a window, and he watched and saw Yishak playing with Rivkah, his wife. So Abimelech called Yishak and said, see, truly she is your wife. So how could you say she is my sister? And Yishak said to him, because I said, lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, what is this you have done to us? one of the people had almost lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us. And Abimelech commanded all his people, saying, he who touches this man or his wife shall certainly be put to death. And Yishak sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and Yahuwah baraked him. And the man grew great and went forward until he became very great. And he came to have possessions of flocks and possession of herds and a great body of servants. And the Pelishites envied him. And the Pelishites had stopped up all the wells which his father's servant had dug in the days of Abraham his father, and filled them with dirt. Okay, so here the Pelishites they envy Yishak because he's blessed by the Most High. And so they've decided to stop up all of the wells which Abraham and his servants had dug up. So they filled up all these wells with dirt. Verse 16, and Abimelech said to Yishak, go away from us, for you are much mightier than we. So Yishak went forth from there and pitched his tent in the Wadi Gerar and dwelt there. And Wadi is Hebrew word for wilderness. 18, and Yishak dug again the wells of water which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Pelishites had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. And he called them by the names which his father had called them. But when Yishak's servant dug in the wadi and found a well of running water there, the herdsmen of Gerar strove with Yishak's herdsmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him, meaning they fought with him. And they dug another well, and they strove over that one too. And he called its name Sitnah. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not strive over it. And he called its name Rehoboth, and said, for now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we shall bear fruit in the land. So you see, they fought over one well. So he walked away and found another, and they fought over that one. So he walked away and he found another one that they didn't fight over. And so he said, okay, so this one is truly for us. The Most High has made room for them, and we shall bear fruit in the land. And so, this tells me that what is for you is for you. What is for me is for me. If it is truly for us, then it will be ours. Yes, no one can take it away.
That's why you don't fight over it, because if it's for you, then it's for you. If you let it go and it comes back, that means it's truly meant for you.
Yeah.
If it don't come back, that means it's not meant for you.
Right.
So don't fight over unvalued possessions that don't even belong to you.
Right.
If it's for you, it's going to be for you.
Yes.
Invalued possessions.
Yes.
Yes. Don't fight for things that are not worth fighting for.
Right. Right. Plant the seed and walk away, right? If the seed is meant to grow, it will grow. If it's meant to grow and bear fruit, it will. Verse 23. And from there he went up to Beersheba. And Yahuwah appeared to him in the same night and said, I am the Elohim of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you, and shall barak you and increase your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, and called on the name of Yahuwah, and he pitched his tent there, and the servants of Yishak dug a well there. And Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Pekol, the commander of his army. And Yishak said to them, why have you come to me, seeing you have hated me and have sent me away from you? But they said, "We have clearly seen that Yahuwah is with you." And we said, "Please let there be an oath between us,
Wow.
between you and us,
Wow.
and let us make a covenant with you."
See, he didn't have to even fight.
No.
The Most High, he made all things work for him anyway.
Yes. 29. That you And let us make a covenant with you, that you do no evil to us, as we have not touched you, and as we have done only good toward you, and have sent you away in peace. You are now Barak by Yahuwah. And he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. And they rose early in the morning and swore an oath with one another. And Yishak let them go, and they departed from him in peace. Now see how by night not fighting over it, right? Trying to impose and enact their own strength and their own will. Instead of doing that, when they chose not to do that, look how the Most High moved. He yet, despite of all that, brought them together in his timing, in his will, in a peaceful way, right? Verse 32. And on the same day it came to be that the servants of Yishak came and informed him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, "We have found water." So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. And when Esau was 40 years old, he took as wives Yahudith, the daughter of Bari the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they were a bitterness of spirit to Yishak and Ribkah.
They were a bitterness of spirit. So that ain't right about that.
Yeah.
They were a bitterness. So you know what that means? That they was bitter against his brother.
Yeah.
Not his brother, I'm sorry. They were bitterness against
his father
and his mother.
Yeah.
That's deep.
That is.
They was bitter. They had a bitter spirit.
Yeah.
Which means they was at odds against them.
Yes.
They
Esau.
All odds against them. Yeah, Esau
and his wives were
against his father.
Against
and
Ribkah. Yeah.
So you know that's
kind of
crazy. Like that's like saying you have your son come over with his wives, which would be your daughters-in-laws, come over to your family house. So you know what I mean. So the son is coming over to his mom's and to his dad's house, and he's bringing his wife with him, and his wife and his own son, which would be her husband. They both are bitter to their own parents. Yeah. Why? Why are you bitter to me? Like, why y'all bitter to him? What I do to y'all? And you'll find out later on why. But you know what it had to do? It had to do with that spirit. That spirit of bitterness from when Esau was not given. That's amazing.
Right.
When Esau was not given that. When Esau sold his birthright, but on top of that, when he was not given what his father promised to give him, and he gave it to his brother.
Yes.
So that bitterness, it still traveled. Even not to him, but even to his wives.
Right. And I was going to say, and this is before he has not been given his birthright. This is beforehand. So that spirit of bitterness has already
planted.
Has already, entered him. Yeah. Right? Because so far he sold his birthrights, yes. But he hasn't at this moment in scriptures, he hasn't learned what the totality of what that means. Right? Yet he already has a bitterness of spirit toward his mother and father. So that lets you know that is absolutely a spirit, right? Yeah. And so that finishes our studies here. That's chapters 25 and 26, and that's where we're going to stop here. But as you go about your day's journeys, especially leaving off at that last verse, right? Where we learned that there was a bitterness of spirit. There was a bitter spirit that came over Yishak and his wives. I'm sorry, Esau and his wives toward Yishak and his mother. And the Most High's words tell us that we don't fight against flesh and blood, right? We fight against spirits and principalities and rulers of the darkness, right? These spirits is what we fight against. And so here, this bitter spirit has come over Esau toward his mother and father, right? And this is before Esau is even learned, like I said, the totality of what he truly did when he sold his birthrights. And so just be cognizant of that, right? Be spiritually aware of that this world, your friends, your family, your coworkers, strangers, the people you encounter throughout your day, look past that flesh, right? Know, like the scripture tells us, that we are fighting against spiritual beings. We are fighting against spirits, right? Those spirits of bitterness and envy and jealousy and lust and fornication and idolatry and vanity, right? That spirit of pride, right? These are the spirits that we are up against, right? And so as you go about your day, keep the Most High's word close to you. Lean onto his Ruach and be cognizant of those spirits, right? Don't allow them in. You know, protect your salvation, protect your peace, right? Don't let those spirits enter and take your peace.
And just to, and to add to what you just said as well too, and just think about it. Esau and his wives were bitter toward Esau's parents.
Right.
Now Esau had a wife, so you know that there were how can I say it, sexual involvements between them two entwined one another. So another thing is that you have to be very careful to just not think about you having sex with someone just being physical, because it's spiritual as well too. So from
Yes.
Esau being bitter and him sexually entwining himself with his wives, he also inserted that
Wow.
spirit of bitterness
Wow.
into them.
Yes.
So they was also bitter with his parents,
right,
because he was bitter with his parents.
Correct.
So when you sleeping around with people,
yes.
you know what I'm saying, and then you got to be very careful, because whatever spirit they have inside of them,
yes,
it will be developed inside of you.
yes.
It's not just physical.
Yes.
It's spiritual. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whatever blood that is bitter inside of them, it becomes entwined with your blood.
Yes. Thank you, honey. And thank you for.
And that's a contamination.
Yes. Yes.
Spiritual contamination.
Yes.
Now you're spiritually contaminated
Yep.
with whatever that woman or whatever that man was spiritually contaminated with.
Right.
And they inserted that spiritual contamination into your spirit.
Right. That's great, honey. And that is because and thank you for that further explanation, because that's where I was trying to get to when I was saying, as you go out, you know, and you interact with people, that is one way where these spirits transfer, right? These dark spirits, you know, they transfer through chance and witchcraft and, you know, like, I can't think right now, but there's other ways, you know. So like when you go into these places, you know, when you get into that Uber, right? When you go into that grocery store, you know, let the spirit lead you. If your spirit is unsettled or your spirit is uneasy, go leave. Go away. Because the Ruach is going to let you know when there's a dark entity around you, right? And like my husband said, you have to be spiritually aware of what you should and should not do, what you can and cannot do, so that those spirits cannot come into you. You know, that's why you have to give your life over to the Most High. You know, you have to give your life over to Him, because if you don't have His hedge of protection around you, these entities, they will come in.
Yeah, they free reign. You're
Yeah.
making it free range for them to come in and do whatever they want to do. Yeah, especially if you don't know what repenting is, which means, okay, I did wrong. I need to turn around 180 degrees and go the other way, because this way right here that I'm going is a ditch right there, and I keep falling in this ditch. And the Most High keep pulling me out of it, which means by Him breathing life into you, giving you a new day, a new opportunity, a new way, then you need to choose the narrow way, because that broad road, just one big pitch, dark, downhill for everlasting, no bottom drop, and you keep falling into that. So when the Most High is giving you another chance, then you have to turn around and go the other way, because if you don't, all you're doing is keep practicing and keep practicing this wickedness, these things that are fulfilling your flesh, and the Most High just gives you up to it.
Yes.
Now these evil entities, now it's free range, because you allow them to come in, so they coming in and they not going. They're gonna come in and they're gonna bring many other ruach cops or many other spirits along with them.
Yes.
And then just the last state of that man is gonna be worse than the first.
Wow. Yes. So we'll end our studies here, family. It's been a beautiful morning. I'm so happy that you joined us and that we were able to come together and just really just spend time in the Most High's Word and just really dwell with Him. And I pray that you are led by Him. You know, I pray that you are safe and that you are protected and that you continue to be led by Him. You continue to seek Him, right? Because that's the only way. Yes.
With all your heart.
With all your heart.
Don't just seek Him just for today. You got to seek Him with all your heart. Like you seek to go eat because you're hungry. Your spirit got to be hungrier to want to seek Him and feed your spirit, not just feeding your flesh.
Right.
So you got to seek Him with all your heart and all your might.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so until the next time, I love you and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.